Welcome to Focus Washington. I'm Chuck Conconi. Joining me here today is Dr. Alexander Mirchev, who is the founder and CEO of the Kroll Corporation. Thanks for coming to the show. And we'll talk to you a little bit today, if we can, about the volatility of the oil markets and what that means in the emerging marketplace.
Means a lot, because the volatility is going to be with us here, and it's here to stay. It is nothing that we could count that it's something that is going to go away in the next 3 months or even 3 years. So basically the markets and all of us should learn to live with this. As far as the emerging markets and transitional economies is concerned, this is really different. Some of them are oil producing, some of them are oil producing in a smart way, some of them are simply consuming the revenues. And it makes a big difference.
What do they need to do, though, to survive in this kind of economy, in this kind of volatility that's going on?
I believe that the key to the issue is the set of measures that are usually described as international and strategic energy security that would provide a platform for a consistent supply and balanced approach to the market players toward the production and distribution of the oil.
What does it do, though, in these countries like Bolivia, Mexico, Kazakhstan?
It's really...
They're oil-producing countries.
Yeah, but
yes.
it's strange. We're probably going to see something that is going to be a relative novelty in the world markets, simply because these countries that are now emerging power players in the oil market and energy market as a whole are going to adopt and are adopting really different approaches, addressing their own problems and the issues of the market. So we're going to see unusual diversity of the outputs, of the results, how these issues are going to be addressed, as well as the role of these economies are going to play in a world oil market.
Will they be taking any leadership in conservation, oil conservation, or in other fuels?
Oh, sure. And I believe that most of them are going to try to diversify. At the same time, the temptation to stay with the hand that is bringing golden eggs is really serious. And that's why the approaches are going to be really dependent on the political will and decisions of the respective.
Well, that's what I was going to think of, is the political competition for this oil from major powers. China, Russia has its own oil production. The United States, how will that affect?
That's why it's so tempting. That's why it's so tempting for them to do nothing. And probably this is what is the curse of some of the so-called curse of some of the oil-producing nations. They could not get out of this, and this dooms their economies to a dependence on the single issues on one hand, and second on real degradation.
So when you advise any of these emerging economies, do you tell them there has to be a way of diversification? Are you helping getting into diversification?
Oh, sure. And most of them would understand the necessity of this, and most of them would come with the unique plans in that relations. Some of them are really successful. I would give the example of Kazakhstan, which has done miracles in this direction under a very tough and complicated circumstances.
What areas are they going into in Kazakhstan specifically?
They have been able to diversify the way they approach the economy of oil over there on one hand, and on the other hand to go into the deep processing, as well as getting new ways to get the market to oil to the markets.
You getting any guidance or leadership out of the United States or anything in the presidential campaigns going here on the energy question?
Absolutely. I believe that the biggest issue is the rhetoric that came with the current election, where the oil, the so-called foreign oil, became synonymous of evil, which we should really forget, simply because the oil, as any other commodity, is more or less morally negative. It has no bearing where it's all produced, the ways, what purpose it serves, how it's going to affect our energy security, and of course, we should diversify and move further in a different energy sources. But at the end of the day, the energy world to be interdependent,
But awfully competitive, too.
sure, and we should find our own way in all this, rather than trying to balance something that's out of our control.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're now running out of time. This is Focus Washington, and I'm Chuck Conco.